Okay, Assalamu alaikum to every exchanges with your host Zain Hussein and your host May Anwar. Today we have an amazing guest, Emmanuel Ajefo. It's lovely to have you here. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here too. My name is Emmanuel Ojeifo. I am a Roman Catholic priest from Nigeria, Abuja, Nigeria. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the 54 countries in Africa, and it is in the West African region. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay. What are you studying? You're studying here, right? You're
Yes,
studying
yes,
what are you
yes,
doing
for
here?
an MA in Religion and Global Politics. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what led you into studying religion and global politics?
Two reasons. One, the peculiar situation of Nigeria. Yeah, it's a very religious country. We like to call ourselves a very religious country because the country is almost equally divided between Muslims and Christians.
Oh.
Yeah, in numbers. Yeah, Nigeria has about 190 million people.
Okay.
And you have about 85 million Muslims and 85 million Christians, and then a small percentage of indigenous worshippers. So it's really, we call it the greatest Islamo-Christian country in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so somebody's calling in. I'm going to take this call, but if it's irrelevant, I'm going to shut it. Okay. Hello?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, so the previous show is over, so I'm going to... What are you calling for?
Yeah? Nasheed.
Oh, no, okay, sorry, the Nasheed show is over. Please phone back this evening, okay? Okay, assalamu alaikum. Okay, so this happened last week as well. Somebody phoned in at the wrong show. And so whenever that happens, I'm just going to shut the phone because I don't know when the next show will be. So you were telling us a little bit about Nigeria and the faith situation there.
Yeah.
And, so...
That was what led me, the first reason I decided to choose religion and global politics, because I wanted to understand the dynamics of religion in a democratic society, how people of different faiths can live together and promote the unity, peace, justice in society. Because you see, the issues that we all face as human beings are the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're Christian or Muslim, you are hungry. There's no Muslim kind of hunger and a Christian kind of hunger.
Yeah, exactly.
You are poor. There's no Christian kind of poverty and a Muslim kind of poverty. Yeah. When there's injustice in the society, it is suffered by Muslims and Christians. When there's poverty, when there's unemployment, people of all faiths suffer it. So we need to join our hands together to build a working society, a society that works for the good of everyone. So these were the issues I had in my mind, and I really wanted to explore it at an academic level.
And are these really big issues in Nigeria at the moment?
Obviously, there are really big issues in Nigeria, really big issues, because there are a lot of issues that bring division among Christians and Muslims in Nigeria, but there are also many other issues on which we are united. So that's really good. May, do you have any questions for Emmanuel?
I'm sorry, Emmanuel, could you speak closer to the mic?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
It's not a question, but just like an insight. Before I would say just basically a long time ago.
Okay.
If I'll be really honest, I never actually knew there was a Muslim community in Nigeria.
Okay.
I actually generally thought it was just predominantly Christianity.
Okay.
And until when I go to South, not postgraduate or undergrad, I actually met Nigerian Muslims, but I was taken by surprise that there is actually a Muslim community in Nigeria. But I never knew it was quite large as well.
Yeah, and also I had not a friend, but somebody I knew in my high school.
Okay.
A girl who was Nigerian.
Okay.
She was a Christian, but she told me her uncle was an imam. Which just blew my mind. And also her mum was Christian and her dad was Muslim.
Yeah.
And apparently where she comes from, it's like quite common for that sort of mix to happen. Because over here it's almost, unspoken of for like a Muslim woman to marry a non-Muslim man. It's, in our community, it's like, it's not very common. But, one thing that really gave me a sense of like how many Nigerian Muslims there really are, I know it sounds silly, but when I was on the Hajj, and I saw a lot of Nigerian people, particularly women, who were wearing clothes with the names of their states on the back of their, on the back of their tops, and so I saw that Katsina State was one of them. I don't know. I learned a few names.
Yeah, that's good.
I met somebody who was who said he was a politician in Nigeria as well, and he was talking to us about like the problems, the social problems that he has to deal with there. And so, it was very insightful to have that conversation. But I want to ask you also a strange question. What is Christianity like in Nigeria?
Christianity is very, very strong in Nigeria. Yeah. I mean, looking at the numbers, it's quite a huge number, a huge proportion of the population that is Christian. Yeah, but they are divided into different sects. So you have Anglicans, you have Catholics, you have Presbyterians.
Which one's the biggest?
The Catholic Church is the biggest, with about 25 million followers. Yeah.
And before we actually started this interview, Emmanuel was shedding some light on Catholicism and sort of, taught me things that I didn't know about it. So, there are different types of Catholicism.
Yeah. The Catholic Church is made up of 22 independent churches. The Roman Catholic Church is just one of the 22. And each of these 22 different churches have their own theology, their own spirituality, they have their own religious heritage, their own traditions, their ways of worship, their hierarchical structure of authority. Yeah, so, but they all are part of the one Catholic Church. At the end of the day, they have their common allegiance to the Holy Father, the Pope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then what might differ, like, I don't know, because before the show you said that the allegiance of Roman Catholics was to Rome. What does that mean?
The allegiance meaning we all recognize that the Pope is the spiritual leader of all Catholics, irrespective of the church you may belong to, which let me say, irrespective of the brand of the Catholic Church that you belong to.
Can you give some other names?
Okay. We have the Maronites, Catholics. Yeah, we have the Coptic Catholics in Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have the Orthodox churches, a number of them who are in the Orthodox churches, whether it's in Russia or whether it's in Greece. Right. Yeah. And then we have the Syro-Malabarites, that's in India. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so it seems to be very, very diverse.
Yeah, very diverse, but very rich in terms of spiritual patrimony. Yeah. All the elements of their theology and spirituality that they bring to the common pool. Yeah, it's very rich and interesting. But they are all
answerable to the Pope?
Yes, at the end of the day, yeah.
So that's sort of the largest group of Catholicism in Nigeria.
Yeah, Roman Catholics.
What might differ is would there be like a difference between Roman Catholic, I don't know, religious practice in Nigeria and Roman Catholic religious practice, say, in the UK?
Absolutely, because the Catholic Church in Nigeria is inculturated. That's a word that we use to express the dynamism, the relationship between faith and culture. Yeah. That when we become Catholics, we don't throw away our culture. We are coming from a cultural background. And there are elements of our culture that we can bring into our faith in the way we dance, in the way we sing, in the way we worship, the kind of clothes that we wear, and all of that. So people bring a lot of that into their faith. And so it's quite, you find newness, freshness, and a certain kind of richness in their expression of faith. Nigerians are a very expressive people, so you see them dancing in church, but you won't find that here in the UK. It's quite solemn and simple, but So
May, don't you agree?
Yeah, it's really interesting because, like, as a Muslim, that's something I have experienced, because we do have something cultural in Islam. I'm South Asian, but like if I were to compare myself with an Arab or Turkish or so on, there are some differences.
Absolutely.
Like we have a bit of a cultural element, like, for example, the way we believe. I have noticed that, like, not very orthodox Islamic perspective.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, for example, let me think. Like, for example, we believe like nudders and stuff like that. Like, we have a charm, but like.
Yeah, and a lot of Muslim cultures have like different ways of doing things like that. Also, ideas related. I don't know. We have also some people believe in some cultural ideas related to like divorce and marriage, and that are not necessarily part of Islam itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're already a good time in. We're going to take a break now. So thanks for tuning into Abrahamic Exchanges, and we'll be back after the break to talk a little bit more about Christianity in Nigeria and interfaith existence in Nigeria. So thanks for tuning in.
That's fast, flexible, and strong. It can be used anywhere, even underwater. For more info, ct1limited.com, or follow us on Facebook, or ring us on 0208 555 1448.
In an age of technological advancement, mass communication and social media, having the right website and app can be the difference that your business needs. AppSite Tech are here to take your business to the next level. No matter how simple or how sophisticated your requirements are, our technicians will work with you to create a bespoke website and app for your organization. Call us now on 0753 808112 or visit appsitetech.co.uk and book your free consultation now.
Amigos, the signature name when it comes to burgers and shakes. Our succulent burgers are prepared in front of you while you wait. Whether you go for the 6-ounce Mexican or the 10-ounce Texan, or you decide to go for our messy fries or buffalo wings, one thing you're guaranteed is quality. We've also got a range of desserts including our trademark shakes in all your favourite flavours. We're based at 400 Cranbrook Road in Gants Hill, so come down to dine in or order in on Uber Eats or Just Eat. Amigos, hats off to great burgers.
Ramadan FM 2018,
the voice of British Muslims.
Hey, don't
worry, Dad. Our windows need changing anyway.
Nah, don't
worry, Dad. UK Windows will sort it out.
UK Window? Oh,
they're the best double glazing company about. They do windows, patios, French doors, sliding doors, UPVC, aluminium, you name it. They've got it. We can go see them.
Okay, assalamu alaikum to everybody again. Welcome to Abrahamic Exchanges again with your host Sain Hussein and co-host May Anwar. We have with us in the studio Emmanuel Ojefo. He is a priest from Nigeria, talking a little bit about interfaith dialogue in Nigeria, different religious communities in Nigeria, how Christianity is Nigeria. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about other communities aside, and also the folk religion. So like from what what is the Muslim community, what is like structured, a little bit of information.
Muslim friends, because I went to a public school and it was for everybody, Muslim and people who have no religion, because sometimes we tend to ignore them, but there are a group of people who say we don't believe in the God that you. I grew up in a neighborhood where there were Muslims. The next door neighbor to us was a Muslim family, and I which is quite strange, because many people
for us it's strange.
They really can't understand that my grandfather was Muslim, his wife was Anglican.
Mm-hmm.
Up as a Catholic priest, so from a family that is Muslim, Anglican, and Catholic, you have a Catholic priest, but Islamic community in Nigeria, as I said, it is almost half of the population, and they are predominantly in the northern part of the country. The south Christian population in the north, and you have a minority Islamic population in the south. Yeah, so that's communities. But the Muslim community is very active in all aspects of life. Yeah, for every two Nigerian you see, one is certainly a Muslim. Yeah. So, well, of course, areas of tension, but there are also areas of common interest among Christians and Muslims in Nigeria. So you have a very vibrant Islamic community in Nigeria. Yeah,
and so, you know, I take it most of them tend to. Would you know?
Basically in Nigeria, majority Muslim are Sunni, and they follow Maliki school.
Okay.
36 states in Nigeria, am I right?
Yeah. No, that's fine.
But basically, out of 36 states, there are 12 states that are predominantly Sunni states, and only 9 of them adopt Sharia law.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
like for example, in terms of punishment, crime.
Okay. Yeah.
It will be based on the Sharia law, and
is that a source of
tension? Because decided that they wanted to adopt Islamic the Sharia legislation. Yeah, and Nigeria defines itself as a secular society, as a secular democracy. So it's certainly going to bring tension where some Islamic Sharia law. Okay. Yeah. There becomes the problem is how do you manage society, because there are prohibitions which will affect everybody irrespective of their religious orientation, like alcohol, setting up and a lot of other things. So yeah, it caused a lot of uproar, but it has subsided now. It's down now, but
And are these states actually implementing Sharia law now?
Well, many states are implementing Sharia law, but they implement. So they
actually went.
It's still raising a lot of issues. Yeah.
Like for example, human rights issue. That's what I want to express on. For example, like because they adopt Sharia law, they kind of follow a specific punishment. That's the issue, because like you do get a lot of human rights issue and case study about in Nigeria, these women are being persecuted because of they were engaged in pre-marital sex or extramarital sex, and that's the dumb. And she was basically divorcing mother, and she was pregnant, but because when you're pregnant and you're not married anymore, it's kind of evident enough that you show that you have engaged in pre-marital sex or extramarital sex. But because it's a shame, because the man who was the father of her daughter was his name Abu Bakr. But he confessed that he did his crime, but later on he retracted confession.
There are no take-backsies, is there?
But apparently, in her defence, she was forced in a relationship.
Yeah, of course.
And there have been cases because there's no evidence to show. You need 4 witnesses to show that you've been raped. At the same time, you need 4 witnesses to show that you committed denial.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Away with it.
Yeah, if the woman is the one who's getting pregnant.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called embarkment is natural, because these women were underage, so they should not have to face the kind of hefty punishment.
This woman is a Muslim. Women who aren't, or for people who aren't, Muslim in that situation.
I think being the case where a non-Muslim being fallen into trap.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes the punishment is mob violence. Yeah, because society is structured on the basis of Sharia law, who on the basis of their religious zeal, yeah, decide to administer jungle justice. Killed or he's injured, and so. But all of that is based on the religious orientation that we are living in an Islamic society. It doesn't matter what you people say you are practicing as far as democracy is concerned. According to Sharia law, and so everybody has to conform to Islamic religious precept, whether you are a Muslim or not. Yeah, in that kind of situation, those who settle elsewhere, but there are many others for whom this is their ancestral home. They have nowhere else to go, and they are saying, why can't we follow the constitution?
I'm guessing there are loads of Muslims who have an issue with this as well.
Oh, of course, there are many Muslims who have issues with it.
It's a human rights issue.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Even myself, like, I don't agree with Sharia law because Sharia law is a man. Sharia law are not really taking any consideration of like there could be an exception. For example, in terms of a dinar, like where a woman can be brought as a victim, but because there's no evidence to show that she's been raped. That's one of the issue, but you know that staying to light 3 times at once is not a fact.
Exactly. People.
That's what I mean. The Sharia law is not. A lot of people kind of confuse Sharia law with divine law and assume that Sharia law is really, really important, but it's not.
And in the defense, like, for instance. So a lot of the time Sharia law gets misinterpreted as well, like in the case of like female genital mutilation.
A real problem.
And a lot of people think that Islam sanctions that behavior, and it doesn't. Like
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's a cultural influence. Like I never come across and there was a documentary, really, but like it's not predominant. No. It's not Islamic as well, because Hanafi fiqh do not actually promote the FCM because it's body mutilation. Yeah, we can't harm our body, and in Islam it encourages for men and women. In that for women, then you kind of take her right.
Yeah.
Well, this way of thinking permeates society where a lot of people are illiterate and ignorant. Kind of. What religious authority do you appeal to? Because in Christianity and in Islam, you have very charismatic young people who go about preaching their own brand of religion, and they tend to that kind of religious interpretation of doctrines and beliefs and practices in their own extremist way. Yeah, so it's a question of religious authority. What authority do we really appeal to? Yeah,
it doesn't seem like there's an easy solution to this now, is there?
Of course.
Which is probably why you're here now studying. How do I improve my country is probably what you're thinking.
I think Christians and many Muslims who agree that since we have defined ourselves as a secular country, we should follow the Constitution. Yeah, because some Christian legislators in the a Christian religious legislation too. Their court of appeal, which is recognized in the Constitution, but there's nothing like that for Christians. They were going to bring up a bill to establish Christian courts in the country, but it's still hanging. But I mean, these are reactionary. They are reactionary ways of addressing the real issues. Yeah, if Muslims have this, then we. It's not really a question of if they have it, we must have it. But the question is, how do we live in a society where under the same law,
exactly,
under the same
and
kind of rules?
From what I understand, Islam really pushes for this idea of like the rule of law. The law applies to everyone. something that something is forbidden. Something is forbidden with regards to marriage. For instance, you have to get a civil marriage in this country. You shouldn't just get married in religious spaces. You should also yourself. But so from what I understand from like Islamic law, that's what you have to do. And unfortunately, it is sad to see people take the law into their own hands, because and so if you're not skilled, and if you just take that law into your hand and decide to implement it just because you want a stronger Islamic, you're going to make mistakes.
Because if you're going to Islamic law, the way the country adopt Islamic law is going to be as complex as people make it sound, because Islamic law, according to Sharia law, that we have to abide the law that we already live in. So why are we complicating ourselves even more? That's the issue, and people need to educate themselves what is the Sharia law, what it's actually about, and what. In terms of religious practice, then yes, that's different. But in terms of associated in the society, that's completely different.
Because when it comes to the word Sharia, the way I pray is Sharia, right?
Exactly.
But then, like in terms of like politics and stuff, that's a different. I wanted to move on, like extremism in Nigeria. So, a group like Boko Haram, for instance, how. Tell us, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot. So tell me who they are, and how have they affected people's views of Islam?
Okay, when Boko Haram started in 2009 in the northern part of named Mohammed Yusuf, it wasn't violent. It was preaching Islamic precepts. The first thing you notice is that all of this is based on a politics of disaffection. When people are unhappy with the way society is organized, and they tell people that you see corruption in politics, you see immorality in society, it is because all of you have decided that you want to practice democracy, but democracy is not giving you what you want. So if you want a better society, if you want a prosperous society, you must adopt this religious law. If we go the way it has been practiced from the very beginning, society is going to function. Idea resonates in many people who have suffered for many years, who are unemployed, who are uneducated, who see a minority elite riding on their backs to. Today, he becomes a councillor or a local government chairman or a politician, and the following month, he's building a big. People are saying, really? Is this how society should be organized? So, at a certain point, those kind of ideologies, because they are uneducated and they are unable to differentiate between true Islam and what this charismatic preacher is saying, they tend to follow what they are being told, and then society becomes very volatile as a result of that. So, but with time, it became radicalized and very volatile, killing people.
And how do they work? Did they like sort of take control of areas?
At a certain point in time, they took control of about 3 states in the country. Very many local governments, so there was just perhaps the state capital and a few other places where government is still effective, but the other parts of the states, Boko Haram took over. But who are the sponsors of these people? How are they so organized that they are able to confront the Nigerian army? And
I'm glad you're asking this question, because people don't, people forget, where do they come from? How are they organized? And, they're just.
I think people who know Boko Haram from 2000.
Kidnapped,
Exactly. Over 200 schoolgirls were kidnapped, and some of them have been returned 12 girls still missing.
Yeah.
And it's because, for example, Boko Haram, their ideology is kind of like they reject it, so they don't agree with the girl being educated. So yeah, it sounds crazy, but it's not just that, but also they kidnap just over 10,000 boys, train them to become a fighter.
Oh
so,
my God.
Yeah, I know, and
very young, from 14 years, 12 years.
Quite young.
Yeah.
I think along the because when you start from younger, it's so the young children are so easy to target these younger people.
Absolutely.
And it's sad that happened. And these girls are either being forced to get married, and not just that, some of them actually got pregnant, and some of them been killed, and that actually happened. And then also March 2016 until August 2016, that's when they collaborated with ISIS. And that's why they're kind of known as the Western African ISIS.
Yeah.
How have many Muslims, reacted to Boko Haram and to groups like that? Do you know?
Well, Christians have suffered, but many Muslims too have suffered as a result of Boko Haram, because when it started, it seemed more like it was against Christians and Muslims. In fact, many politicians had to run away for their lives. Many religious and traditional leaders were killed who are Muslims. Yeah. Muslims have suffered, Christians have suffered too. But the Muslims who get to suffer are those that are targeted by Boko Haram as infidels too. You have joined these people. If you
it's actually quite scary for them.
Yeah.
Because Muslims, I'm not trying to like compare. Boko Haram puts them under pressure to like make allegiance with them.
Absolutely,
you're either with us or
you're
against
against us.
It doesn't matter if you're Muslim.
Yeah.
That's
So
we've spoken about a lot. Let's go for a short break. Come across, I don't know, it's kind of emotionally affecting me, especially as somebody who's not really doesn't know a lot about it from the beginning. After a short break, thank you.
Or follow us on Facebook or ring us on 0208 555 1448.
In an age of technological advancement, mass communication and social media, having the right website and app can be the difference that your business needs. AppSite Tech are here to take your business to the next level. No matter how simple or how sophisticated your requirements are, our technicians will work with you to create a bespoke website and app for your organisation. Call us now on 0753 808112 or visit appsitetech.co.uk and book your free consultation now.
Amigos, the signature name when it comes to burgers and shakes. Our succulent burgers are prepared in front of you while you wait. Whether you go for the 6-ounce Mexican or the 10-ounce Texan, or you decide to go for our messy fries or buffalo wings, one thing you're guaranteed is quality. We've also got a range of desserts including our trademark shakes in all your favourite flavours. We're based at 400 Cranbrook Road in Gants Hill, so come down to dine in or order in on Uber Eats or Just Eat. Amigos, hats off to great burgers.
Ramadan FM 2018.
The voice of British Muslims.
Hey, तैनू 20 बार आके तक क्रिकेट ना खेलिया कर तो फिर विंडो पंच हो रही है.
Don't worry, Dad. Our window's nearly changing anyway.
हाँ तो पैसे तू दे से ना.
Nah, don't worry, Dad. UK Windows will sort it out.
UK Window? Oh, कौन है?
They're the best double glazing company about. They do windows, patios, French doors, sliding doors, UPVC, aluminium, you name it, they've got it. We can go see them at 51 to 53 Upton Lane, Forest Gate, E79PA, or call them at 07984 440 093 or visit ukwindowslondon.co.uk.
वाह जी वाह, ये तो कमाल है यार. UK Windows
Zindabad.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximise the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
With over 25 years' experience in the East London area, there's no better firm to rely on than Cameron Adams Century 21 when it comes to properties. Be it lettings, property management or sales, we can assist you to ensure you get the most out of your property. Contact us on 0208 558 2000 for a free, no obligation valuation and watch us do what we do best.
Grab your taste of luxury.
Okay, assalamu alaikum to everybody tuning in. Again, welcome to Abrahamic Exchanges with your host Zain Hussein and your co-host May Anwar. Wow, we had a very emotional discussion about extremism. The tears in. It's really hard to listen to. But I kind of wanted to that part of what we were talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Boko Haram has killed over 25,000 people in Nigeria. Yeah, predominantly. The statistics are not too clear, but I think that many Muslims have suffered, even as schools. The ideology, Boko Haram simply means Western education is forbidden, it's haram. So they started by bombing schools, by abducting schoolgirls and schoolboys. There are a number of schools where they massacred students. Yeah, there were 59 boys were massacred in school. Yeah, in 2014 they abducted 276 girls. Yeah, and they were Christians. They were also
and you know
Muslims.
The sad thing is, sorry, I'm interrupting.
Well, because the world doesn't seem to be bothered about that. Yeah, not very many people are bothered about it, but it's a big problem that the country have suffered in the last 10 years. Yeah, with the new government, a lot of while they still carry out attacks. Yeah, at a certain point in time, they started using young boys, schoolgirls, and schoolboys as suicide bombers.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so it's been a really terrible situation, and of course, it has put a strain on interreligious dialogue. Yeah, because there's a tendency for Christians. Muslims are killing us, but the Muslim community in Nigeria doesn't. An account of being vocal against what Boko Haram is doing, so their lives are at risk. And for us who are Christians, we believe that we are not going to solve these problems are killing us and all of that. We have to join our hands together to see how we resolve the problem. So so much has been done in terms of the military effort to reconciliation, rehabilitation of those who have suffered, who have undergone this mental and psychological torture over the years. When they go back to their homes, how do they relate with their Muslim friends and with their Christian friends with whom that they have lived in relative peace over the years? So it's really a very difficult situation. Reconciliation is still a huge work to be done.
To answer your question, but you have to understand that the media doesn't usually cover everything.
Yeah,
there's so many problems around the world, so many issues, and not a lot of people are aware of this kind of crisis over the world.
Of course not.
That's why, for me, I just recently know about Boko Haram, just about the kidnapping, and never knew from anything before that.
to focus on and what parts they don't focus on.
The only basically it's because think about it, it's basically a money business. So they will. It is a money business.
Yeah, the global media has its own ideology.
They're not innocent.
Yeah, they're just doing this to grab that part in the media.
Okay, so moving on from Boko Haram, extremism. What differentiates it from Muslim extremism in Nigeria, and what form does it take?
Well, Christian extremism would be Christian fundamentalism. That's what we call it. People who hold their beliefs in a very fundamentalist way, in a very extremist way. Yeah, and so you have Christians who do not even want to relate with Muslims in Nigeria. Yeah, because they believe that these people are infidels, they are bad people, and all of that. But that's not the general idea with many Christians. Yeah, but what I would call Christian fundamentalism or extremism would be the belief in the prosperity gospel.
Okay.
That you don't have to work hard to become wealthy and prosperous in life, and there's a lot of attention given towards demonic possessions, casting and binding evil spirits, and all of that is because society is broken. So people are sick and cannot get access to medical health care. And so the tendency is to want to go to a church where a pastor tells you, you don't need to worry, Jesus will heal you. But the pastor, when he gets sick, he doesn't say, Jesus will heal me. He jets out of the country and he goes to take care of his health because he has the money.
Exactly.
So that kind of ideology resonates with many young people who live in a very broken society and who feel that if you believe in Jesus and you hold on to your faith, everything is going to go well. But there is no religion that assures you that things work that way.
Exactly.
So that's the kind of orientation we find with very many young people who want to hold their faith in such a way that they believe that they do not need to work hard to be successful in life.
And you were telling me before that some people who follow the prosperity gospel take part in corruption as well?
Oh, of course, because corruption in government doesn't follow religion. When the politicians gather to share the money, they do not say they do not say I'm a Muslim and you are a Christian. Religion doesn't matter when they are sharing the money.
I agree with you.
So and you find and that's still the same tension with how do we want society to be managed and administered, because you have Christians in public life who have access to public funds, and sometimes they dip their hand in the public till for religious purposes, maybe sponsor pilgrimages. You have Muslims in public life who do the same, to sponsor pilgrimages to Mecca. You have Christians who sponsor pilgrimages to Jerusalem. So the question is, how do we manage public life? And so you have situations where people who are in public life dip their hands into the Commonwealth to sponsor their religious causes, like building churches and sponsoring their religious leaders, their pastors, their evangelists and apostles and prophets. And you find that too in the Islamic side with the Muslim side. So society is just a race towards what I will call anarchy, because accountability and transparency in the management of public life is not taken seriously.
So coming to the point of Abrahamic exchanges, our show is interfaith dialogue, interfaith activity, interfaith existence. Now, in the context of everything that Emmanuel, you've told us, Boko Haram, corruption, a very depressing state of affairs for many people in Nigeria, things that we can only imagine being here. What is interfaith dialogue? What does that even mean in Nigeria then?
Good. Because I come from the Catholic tradition, our church takes interfaith dialogue seriously. Basically because since Vatican II was the single largest gathering of Catholic church leaders in the 20th century. And that was from 1962 to 1965 in Rome. And at the end of that council, for 3 years, 16 documents were released. And one of the most important documents was the decree on the relationship between the Catholic Church and non-Christian religions. And the document holds in very high esteem Muslims, and says that we all worship the one God, although in different ways, and that we have a responsibility to promote justice and peace and unity and reconciliation in society. So that has been the inspiration for many Catholics, many Catholic religious leaders who go into interfaith dialogue, because we want to build a just society, and a just society is a just society for everyone, whether you are Muslim, whether you are Christian. So it's a process of getting to know Muslims so that Christians also get to know us, what we believe, how we live, and how can we join our hands to promote the common good.
And I guess in Nigeria this is really important at the moment.
Very important because of the religious tensions. Very important. There are very many prominent religious leaders in Nigeria who take interfaith dialogue seriously on the Christian side and on the Muslim side. And in fact, at the national level, there is a national interreligious council. Which is the leadership of that group is made for the highest Christian leader in the country and the highest Muslim leader in the country. And so the effort that they put into interfaith dialogue percolates to the lower level of society.
That's good.
Yeah, so
because oftentimes it stays up and
doesn't come down. So you have Christian leaders who go to break fast with Muslims. So it's a very interesting kind, and there are many programs and activities that we hold together. We can always meet, we can always share our faith with each other. The point is not to convert anybody. It's not that we want to convert anybody, but I want to really know what you believe in, and you understand what I believe in. You may not accept what I believe, I may not accept what you believe, but I respect your belief.
Yes,
and you respect my belief, and we see how we can work together.
Is it helping in Nigeria?
Helping, really, because we realize that there are many common grounds between the two religions. If you don't explore, you won't get to know. So it's really helping, because if not for interfaith dialogue, I think that society would have been worse than it presently is. So a lot is really taking place.
Interfaith dialogue here is just so different. Like, I don't know. It's just it's almost quite performative here.
It depends here, because. Multiculturalism.
Yeah.
Because it's so many diversity, and whereas that in Nigeria it's very simple. It's quite simple between Muslim
comparatively,
and Christian. Exactly. So in here we've got religions, and not just religion, but within religion they have their own religion. So everyone have their own issue. So like you said, it's quite performative. So it's going to be different. Like all country, it's going to be different. Everyone have a different way of interfaith dialogue. That's what I want to ask you. Interfaith dialogue, do you have anything like educational influence in a way that it kind of like have a bit of an interfaith dialogue?
Yeah, we do. At different levels, at the level of schools, because I was chaplain of a Catholic secondary school that was open to everyone. So you had Muslim students, you had Christian students of different Christian denominations. So it really works well when we, first of all, realize that we are all children of God. It doesn't our religious differences should not divide us, but should be a point of unity for all of us, that the basic trust for each one of us is that each one is a child of God. And from that point on, we can begin to address common issues. So it does have, there's an educational dimension that's getting to teach young people what other people believe, how they live, and how we can all relate with each other. But it takes place at different levels. There's a dialogue of faith, meaning it's theological understanding of religious beliefs, but there's also a dialogue of charity, sharing common resources for promoting the common good, like when people go to the market, they are not saying, is this guy a Muslim before you decide to buy what you want to buy from the shop?
Exactly.
Or is he a Christian before you decide to buy what you want to buy? Yeah. So every day we are having interreligious dialogue on the street.
Yeah.
You get into the bus, you are not saying, is this a Muslim bus or is this a Christian bus?
No,
you don't ask that.
But then, that's, maybe the point of interfaith dialogue is to address those points of tension.
Those points of tension.
Yeah.
But, sometimes we can emphasize the points of tension to the exclusion of the points of unity, the areas of common grounds that we have, because I think that the areas of common grounds between the two religions are more than the points of tension. Yeah.
What I'm maybe trying to get at is maybe in Nigeria, not necessarily to do with religions, but to do with the things that create those types of tension. Talking about them.
Yeah. So, of course, we do talk about those issues because there are studies on how Islam addresses the issue of corruption in politics.
Okay.
And how Christians address the issue of corruption in politics. I know civil society organizations and NGOs that are doing that kind of study, and they are coming out with important documents. And that really helps when you see that the two major religions have almost the same view on public issues, that stealing public resources is bad. It's unacceptable to God. And so we can join hands together to fight the issue of corruption in politics, because we see that when politicians steal and they share the money, they're not sharing it on a religious basis. They are simply politicians and they do what they do. So you have that kind of orientation towards interfaith dialogue in Nigeria.
That's really good.
And it works very well. It works very well. For those who are really interested, as I said, it is not every Christian denomination that is interested in it.
And not every Muslim is.
Not every Muslim. In fact, some Christians believe that you are just wasting your time.
And some Muslims do.
You get a really extreme style of Muslim that rather just focus on their own religion. So they haven't got time for anyone else other than religion. I mean, that's what I wanted to ask you. In Nigeria, do you have any external influence for interfaith dialogue?
Oh yeah, there are external influences, positive external influences, of course, because there are religious organizations that hold conferences, international conferences. Sometimes they bring them to Nigeria, or sometimes religious leaders from Nigeria go to attend, Christians and Muslims. In fact, last year, Pope Francis held a peace meeting at Assisi to mark the 30th anniversary of a peace meeting that Pope John Paul II had held in 1987. And Christian leaders from Nigeria and Muslim leaders from Nigeria were at the meeting, at the highest level of religious leadership in Nigeria. So, and all of that is brought to the lower level, to the grassroots level. So you have religious leaders who are constantly interacting and working towards peace. But there's something fascinating I wanted to say, that in the capital of Nigeria, there are two very important religious monuments.
Yeah.
There's the National Mosque and there's a National Christian Center.
Mm-hmm.
And they are separated by about 100 yards from each other.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very graphic when you see that these two important religious monuments for the two major religions in the country are almost on the same streets.
Yeah.
And that should say something to people that really we can live together in unity and in peace, that we can work together and that we can promote the common good. So, and in January last year, I took some of my priest friends who came from Australia. We went visiting the National Mosque. And we went into the National Mosque, we took photographs, and then I posted them on my Facebook page. And I didn't expect the kind of reactions I got from some Christians who were saying, "What are you doing in a mosque?" But the Imam of the National Mosque is my friend, and I simply called him to say, "Oh, I have these friends who are visiting. Can they come and see the beauty of the mosque?" And he said, "Why not?" And we went there, and he took us around. He showed us the places. So you see that there are very many people who just feel reserved and who say, "Let the Muslims be on their own, and let the Christians be on their own."
But given the situation, that can't be. We need to work together. That's the thing.
Yes.
And so one of the I think the most important thing I took from what you've explained, how interfaith dialogue happens in Nigeria, is when the research that the Muslim research and the Christian research around corruption.
Yeah,
so that's coming together as a society, but at the same time coming together to tackle the real issues
that's
what
affect
I
everybody.
Really love. That's what I really love. And we, to be quite honest, we need to do that more here.
Well, you need to do that more, but some of the problems we have, you don't have them.
Yeah, no, of course I agree with you. I'm saying in our our version.
Well,
right, in here, everyone just sugarcoat the whole interface, make it look like it's all good, but like we've got a real problem. We need to address the problem.
There's no parallel. I'm not saying there's a parallel at all. I'm saying that where it comes to like really addressing issues, we need to do that everywhere. So the time has come to an end. Osman is, signaling to me, I think. Thank you everyone for joining, tuning in to Abrahamic Exchanges with your host Zain Hussein, co-host May Anwar, and our guest Emmanuel Ojefo. I learnt a lot today, and I hope those who are listening or who will listen will, learn a lot from this too. Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Or visit appsitetech.co.uk and book your free consultation now.